Today on Drawbli,
I am redrawing my old art to boost confidence.
Hey, I'm Ben.
And I'm Abby.
And we're self-taught artists documenting our drawing adventures because art is better when shared with friends.
So click that subscribe button if you're new around here.
And check out our daily drawing guidebook, link below. Abby, you're boosting your confidence. Why are you boosting your confidence?
Because I do so much better this time.
Oh.
What's funny is I don't remember what was up with me the first time I tried to draw this guy.
You were less experienced.
I was less experienced, but at the time I remember thinking like, this is going pretty well. And now looking back at it, I'm like, oh.
Abby, I have some bad news for you, but that's going to be pretty much everything we draw for the rest of forever.
I know.
Until you get to a point where you're like at a really high level of confidence.
So I just wanted to see, I was like, let me just test myself.
Let me just make sure.
My biggest fear was that it wasn't going to be that much better.
Oh no.
But now I'm looking at it, I'm like, this was, I don't know what sort of fugue state I was in. There was no back color on the first attempt. It's all just like see-through, whatever background.
I've told you about this so many times. I've complained about this so many times because I'll take one of your images and I'll like try to make a YouTube thumbnail from it, or I'll try to like use it for literally anything, and it's like, oh, this is like see-through for most of the painting.
Yeah, but already I feel like just even the basic forms here are much improved over the last one.
I think you drew that during Med's Map, right? That's one of the Ahmed Aldoori assignments.
Yeah, and I think I did it all in one sitting, just kind of fugue statey, like, I think it's going well.
We had not drawn many faces
We
before
really,
at
you
that
know
point.
what? I actually remember that now. Like, I remember how intimidating Med's Maps was because we were still like really fresh and nervous about getting into portraits more because we'd attempted them in the past and found them to be so difficult.
We went almost an entire year of Drawbli without doing any faces.
Yeah, because we tried them initially and we're like, we're not ready. But, there was a lot of benefit in that. We spent a lot of time drawing simpler forms and shapes and things that were a lot more forgiving of non-exactness.
We did faces occasionally.
So that's why you see these early attempts at faces as like, oh, this is what I was talking about when on forms, I can draw one eye and part of the forehead going into the like bulging like a fisheye lens, but only applied to very small areas of the portrait.
I feel like you should have hid your old drawing. I feel like it's distracting.
That one eye, like, aha, I'm Mad-Eye Moody.
Mad-Eye Moody.
I like it there, though, to see how far I've come. I have been so enraptured with like a canvas background and watercolor brushes since seeing an art by Loris Reel recently.
Yeah.
Or not even recently at this point, but I still like to work with that. In fact, to the point where occasionally I'd start to paint over something on a new layer, and I didn't like how it was covering up my texture as much, so I'd go back and take that back off.
Oh, well, you can set your layer to, I think, overlay. I think you can set it to overlay, and it'll show through.
Yeah, I just struggle to build enough color when I do that, I feel like.
I mean, you take your canvas texture and you put that on top with, I think it's overlay. Because it's white, it should be overlay.
Oh, okay.
We can double check on that.
Ah, well now, this is changing things.
I can show you a technique to make that kind of come through to the very end.
That must be my traditional art brain saying you can't put the canvas on top of the art afterwards.
It wouldn't be on top, it would be using a blending layer to like go all the way through.
Yeah, okay.
Definitely possible.
Yeah, all right. So I redrew this guy and I was really happy with how he turned out. And I also went back and just did I duplicated a layer of the final artwork for a different piece that I'd done around the same time.
Yeah. And
then just touched that one up, told myself like, I bet it could be just a little bit better. I wasn't going to redraw this next one, but I just wanted to see, not from scratch like this one, which was totally worth doing. I don't think I could have gotten that initial version just through a series of touch-ups to something that I liked.
Very nice job on your redraw. I like it.
Thank you.
I see a lot of improvement.
Yeah, I do too. I like the cutout in his eyebrow too. What a trendy move. So
I do remember this one, and this one I think still holds up pretty well.
I was pretty pleased with how it turned out, initially. So that's why I wasn't going to try to redraw it. I just was curious to test myself to see if there's things I notice now that it might benefit by. So
you're just painting over top to continue to like work on it.
Basically, yeah.
Gotcha.
For me, this was mostly adjusting values, like deepening values where they're darker and trying to add better like delineation and highlights.
Now, do you think that if you would have like given yourself a week back then to like take a break and come back to this, do you think you would have noticed this stuff? Or do you think it's only now, with the experience you have now, that you're able to notice?
That's a good question. I guess we'll never know since I didn't do that.
True.
But I did intentionally try to go in and like, I guess render slightly better. Just bring up the notch of rendering just a little bit. Try to smooth things out here and there slightly. So yeah, for better or for worse, I went back in and did some work on this. I liked how her eye turned out, the one that's on our left here. I thought I rendered that slightly better here with the reflections. But other parts, I'm not sure I did a better job with that streak of light that goes across her cheek.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was like, oh, maybe I should have left that once I went back and like compared them. And I'll put them both on screen at the end so we can see kind of like how it went versus, how I changed it. I did realize there was just a lot that I could have done to make it different. And it was fine that I stopped when I did.
So the question stands, did this work of redrawing old things and drawing on top boost your confidence?
I thought so. So after I finished these, I just jumped right into like some just very quick value studies on quickposes.com. I set up the timer for like 300 seconds, and it's not even related to these, but I felt like it just let me jump into that work, just fully warmed up and ready to go. So here's the comparison here, the big value shift there.
I like that.
Thank you.
No, I think you definitely did a lot more on this to kind of push and improve. I really like this. I think like you said, the eyes with that little subtle reflection and added depth there is really cool. And I think some of the blending that you did around the mouth is awesome.
Oh, thank
Some
you.
deeper shadows like on the chin and the light on the face I actually really like.
Thank you.
This is cool. This is definitely a big improvement.
Yeah, and the backlighting, not to mention. So now we're on quick poses, which is always kind of a blast because I don't really push myself on quick poses to finish a whole piece. I do as much as I want on whatever part of the body I'm at, and if the timer runs out, well, I gotta switch to the next one. So I just do. So that's why we get this pair of legs, my first one, and not much else, because I just didn't. Now I'm not really doing gesture
So you
studies
said
here.
300 seconds?
Yeah, I think that's their max time if you're doing
So 5 minutes
timed.
per.
Yeah.
Yes.
I wonder though, looking back, if I didn't, maybe I had it set for less because I felt like I had no time at all on these.
Yeah, 5 minutes. This doesn't seem like 5 minutes to me. You can do a lot more in 5 minutes.
I think so.
This looks more like 1 minute or 2 at most.
I think you're right. Maybe 3. But it just felt really good and satisfying to do. Just values as opposed to gesture, I think.
Yeah, gesture is something I've always struggled with and need to practice more. I've never done kind of one of these quick pose websites for value study though. That's cool. That's actually really fun. I should try that.
It was the most fun because you just, you color real quick where you see anything dark. And then to get light spots, I just do some gentle like shading on the side there to like emphasize where an area is light.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah.
It's another example of you getting more into painting and me doing more.
Oh yeah, that's so true.
I feel like all my videos lately, like everything I've done for the past few weeks has all been sketching and lines and stuff.
I think so, but you've gotten a lot better. Like you're improving a lot in this amount of time.
Yeah, putting in the work definitely helps.
Yes. This was fun to do though. Oh, as always, at a Starbucks. Although I wasn't listening to the hot Starbucks goss like what you sometimes do. I was listening to...
I don't listen to the hot Starbucks goss. I am just focused on what I'm doing instead of listening to a podcast or something.
I was listening...
Which is very distracting.
...to a book. This is my second attempt to listen to or to read... Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell, I think is how the title flows.
Yep.
By Susanna Clark, because I love Piranesi, also by that author. And I attempted to read it in the past, but now that I'm listening to it, it's flowing much, much better. And it's a very like British tome where they speak
I've seen the show.
I want to see it so bad now. And so I find myself, starting to speak like proper British gentleman in my
no.
daily life. Yes.
I get to look forward to
I
that.
take the liberty of making an observation regarding your artwork, you know. I think this is the last little piece here of these little like value study sketches. And these are super fun to do. So if
And
you,
they're super fun to look at and see come together.
yeah, always
really like
recommend these as a refreshing exercise and practice.
Whoa, those are very cool.
Yeah. I like these a lot. And I like putting them on, like, I always love throwing a file in the background that's like a different parchment, or I have a few of those saved on my iPad. And they do take up a good amount of space, but I think it's worth it.
So you have shown me.
Yeah.
They're quite large.
They are, but I think it's well worth the size. And you're going to show me here soon how to move all my old Procreate files off of the iPad and onto the computer.
Yes. We have the technology now. And if you want the technology, click that like and subscribe button and check out our guidebook on easily drawing every day at the link below.
Share your artwork on Instagram with #Drawbli because drawing is better with friends.
And this is the part where we say
Goodbye.
goodbye.
It's like we never stop talking.
Until we do.